So, Julie, let's
Hello.
talk about the changing role of operational leaders. And when I say operational leader, it's a bit vague. We often refer to the second in command, don't we? But it's like no one has a job title of second in command. It's usually like COO, ops director, ops manager. What else? Chief of staff, general manager. We've seen everything,
Executive
haven't we?
assistant,
Yeah.
integrator.
Number two,
Yeah, there are
right
so
hand.
many different job titles for that operational second in command, especially in a founder-led business, because it all depends on what you come in to do and how that role organically changes over time.
Yeah, because a lot of people, it's evolved, hasn't it, from
Yeah.
kind of from when they first joined the business. And we talk a lot about that, how that role has changed. But so go back, like, what was it now, 8, 10 years ago when you became COO at CHS, it was very much around the doing, wasn't it? What was it like for you in that role then?
I think what happened to me is what happens in a lot of founder-led businesses where I was promoted within.
Mm.
So you're obviously identified as someone who is a great operator, gets shit done, and capable, safe pair of hands. You normally get elevated into that second in command role. And if I look back to the new COO that I was back then, if I look at the role, what was I doing? It was all around being reactive.
Mm.
It was all around getting shit done, to-dos, task lists, trying to be across everything. And I think when you first go into that role, I think that first kind of phase of it is about implementing the foundation. So being able to oversee everything and look at every single department and be a really strong second in command for you. You spend your first phase of that putting in your scorecards, understanding what's broken, you know,
Yeah,
where the
systems all.
gaps are. You're looking at your team, you're looking at your skill sets, and you're not really, to begin with, grappling with making maybe efficiencies and improvements. It's about where are we right now?
Mm.
And
And then also dealing with the crazy founder, i.e. me.
yeah, yeah, that was fun.
Coming up with another idea and always wanting to move
Yeah.
us forward. And like you always say, don't you? For me, it must be beautiful up there, what I can see, the horizon, what's possible. The birds are singing, everything's wonderful, and you're like at the bottom dealing with it all, like the
Yeah.
crevices, the kind of like
Yeah.
the mountains to climb, oceans to swim to get us to where we want to be.
Yeah, and if I look back, and you'll probably agree with me here, but if I look back to when I first got into that role, I wasn't at the time strong enough or confident enough to push back as
Mm,
much as unfortunately I do now for you, Emma.
mm.
But it was about, okay, Emma wants to do this. All right, how do I then go and execute that? And the thinking around that wasn't there right at the beginning. And a
Mm.
lot of the second in commands and the operators that we coach now, that's something that comes with time and confidence to be able to push back with your founder and to slow things down rather than join the circus and join the chaos. It's, for a second in command, that is definitely a shift you've got to make, is to be able to slow it down to go faster.
Yeah, and I think some of the confusion as well people get is it's slowing it down, not bringing it to a halt. And
Yes.
a phrase we use a lot is like, will it make the boat go faster? So like, when I have a crazy idea, for you to be able to say to me, Emma, has the vision changed? No. Will this get us the vision quicker or easier or smoother? No, it's just a nice shiny object that I've seen that I kind of, and
Yeah.
the amount of times that you have to remind me that an idea that I have might not actually be for us. It might just be a
Yeah.
good idea, but not for us. And if you think about our business coach, one thing he always says is, a good idea at the wrong time is a bad idea. And sometimes, but when you said about confidence though, and that ability and to be able to sort of, slow things down, push back. And the way we do that is through questioning. It's two sides of that because um we talk a lot about healthy debate, and I got to remind myself, even now, even though we teach this, that when you are challenging my thinking, questioning me, getting clarity,
Mm.
and I still see that as like, you want all the details that I don't have. You're boring me. Like, I'm ready for the next thing. Like, can you
Yeah.
not just go figure that out? And I know the theory around if I just let you question me, you help me to get my ideas formulated, but also, like you say, it's go slow to then speed up. And sometimes we work out that actually the idea isn't for us. But then when you have got all that detail, so I've got to remember that you being that operator and you doing the slowing down is an absolute gift. But it's still hard for me.
Yeah,
After all these years, it's still not easy.
it's frustrating because we are naturally second in command's founders, yin and yang. We're completely different ends of the spectrum, and that's why it's magic and it works when the relationship is absolutely aligned and you're in tune. And I mean, we've both witnessed it. It's a beautiful thing to be part of once you've got that momentum and you're going. But
Once I get over myself.
yeah, but also, and also for the second in command, not to be people pleasing or just going along with the founder because they're the founder and they're the boss, and because
Mhm.
the business is it's gonna go off in all crazy directions, and it's not gonna get. And the founder wants the second in command to execute their vision, because that's the biggest frustration for you at the time, wasn't it? Is you had these great, amazing ideas, and that is your superpower, Emma, is the way that you can and the speed you generate ideas at, but you could never execute and finish it.
No, no. And that's the whole thing, isn't it? Is like when you've got that brilliant, like the idea, the visionary, and as somebody who can actually make it happen. But that is, I think, the biggest shift now. So, like you said before, it was all about and I think it's people have it in that operator role. It's almost like that hero complex of like,
Yeah.
I get shit done, I make things happen, I. And there's a pride that comes with working hard. There's a pride that comes with I work through the night to do this, and I think we have founders have got to be careful not to reward that kind of um not behavior, but that kind of activity now because it doesn't have to be that way. And I think operators now need to be a lot more discerning with their time. And like, let's be honest, me and you had this conversation last week where you were really busy, you were overwhelmed. I was like, let me just take a little peek at your to-do list. And I'm like, oh, you've fallen back into the old way of doing things.
Yeah.
You've fallen back into that.
I
I've
had
read
my
it, I'll
cape
just do
back on.
more.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
being a superhero. The team needed, it's okay, I'm here. And we do fall back into that, let me just put my crown back on. Do you know what I mean? It's naturally who we are. And that's the side of being an operator, which doesn't always serve us. We
Mhm.
think it might do right at the beginning of your journey and your career, and that definitely serves you. We'll just grind it out. We'll just get it done. We'll just keep going until we achieve what we need to
And you
achieve.
get praise for that. Oh my
Of
God,
course you
well,
do.
thank you. Oh, you saved me. Oh my God, I don't know what I'd do without you.
Yeah.
All that kind of feeds into that. I'll just do more. I'll take on more. It's quicker if I do it myself, which is, we all suffer from that at every level.
But I think in when you're in that second in command role, and we do, like you've just said, I'm witness to it. It's not lost to me. We teach this stuff. Do you know what I mean? Of irony there, but it's easy for us to slip back into it, especially when we're up against it or we're overwhelmed and we're hitting a real crunch point in the business. But it doesn't actually serve you as a second in command and actually what your role is. Hence, what we're talking about today is how the role has shifted, because a second in command cannot be in the weeds, looking at to-do lists, firefighting, um, because you're not thinking, you're not doing critical thinking, you're not looking at strategy, you're not improving your team, you're not driving the business forward, and I'm not being a strategic partner to you.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I was looking at something the other day and it said that all you've it's great to have that second in command position, but if you're not careful, all you do is shift the bottleneck.
Yeah.
So you have absolutely removed me from being the bottleneck. You've removed me from being in every decision and what have you. You've got everyone knows where we're going, everyone's aligned, everyone knows what's expected of them, so they can all make independent decisions and such like. Um, but we're not at that point now in the events company that we are, is that now you're needing your second in command because now you're the bottleneck, and that's when you get back into it. And we've got to have these conversations constantly
Yeah.
about that strategic partnership and the yin and yang, and one is as equal as the other. We talked before about we don't actually like the title second in command, but it's
No.
universally understood because like well, I wrote an article about it, didn't I? That
Yeah.
second in command does not mean second best. I'd be lost without you. Um, um, and that again, that doesn't mean there's only you. It's like it's that relationship. It's that having that somebody to do that. Talk to me about like your perception now around this. We'll talk about £10, £100, £1,000 tasks. I think that's changing as well.
Yeah, it certainly is because it was, I think it was it our, was it Kevin, my coach? I think it was. You know what? It was years ago when Kev first talked to me about what £10, £100, and £1,000 tasks are. At the time, like I did, wrote it down, but it didn't really resonate with me because I
Mm.
was at the beginning of the journey. I was just getting shit done. I was in my to-do list. I was like, yeah, that's really nice. Like, it only really has resonated with me in the last 18 months. And I think just to, while we're talking about it, it's kind of like if I look at my day rate or my salary and you then work out what your hourly rate is, where should I be spending my time for the business? Am I a good resource and value for money if I am spending the majority of my day doing £10 tasks? And what I'm talking about there is admin, chasing people, like email, inbox, all that crap. It's essential to do, but it's not where I need to be spending my time. And then you look at £100 tasks where maybe you'll be more project management and you're working more on projects. Where I need to be and second in commands need to be, we need to be at £1,000 tasks. We need to be looking at strategy. We need to be working on things that are going to move the business forward, or working on projects that are actually moving the needle, or looking at the team, or looking at systems, or looking adopting new ways of working. And
Risk
that's
management a lot as well, isn't it? It's like a lot of that work that you do with number twos is that
yeah.
risk management.
And
And I think
I
risk
make them do an
management big on.
exercise where I ask them for 2 weeks before our next call is to write down where they're spending their time. And it's a real eye opener for them going, wow, I need to delegate. And it's like, yeah, you need to delegate.
This is the key thing, isn't it? Is
Mm.
like if you look back 8 years ago, there was a sense of do more with less.
Yeah,
And because you like there was nothing else, that meant just do more individually. It meant the
yeah.
team doing more, it meant you doing more, it meant me doing more. And now, because of AI,
Hmm.
a lot of those £10 tasks are disappearing. And the key thing for me is, I mean, you see it in the news recently about like companies letting go of swathes of people, whole departments, saying pretty much they're £10 tasks, AI can do them. And for me, that's a real scarcity kind of mindset as
Yeah,
opposed to an abundant mindset. So where we come from is what more can we achieve? What more can we do
yeah.
using AI? Not how many people can we get rid of in that sense. So I guess the key thing for me is how the role has changed is it's not about now what do you do yourself and who do you delegate to? It's how do you make things happen? What do you delegate to? What's the human task? What's an AI task and such like? Yeah, are you seeing that with your people that you're coaching as well? That it's a mindset shift, isn't it? Of like it's not even do it myself or delegate it. It's like I guess we talk about being resourceful, not just looking at the resources that you have.
Yeah. And I think that is always something that we talk about it a lot. It's always at the back of my mind. How do we, as if I take CHS, the hour of the business, it's how do we become more resourceful with the same resources?
Mm.
So we're not constantly going, I need more budget, I need more headcount, I need more this, I need more that. It's about how this is what, especially for small businesses, right now, you know what I mean? We haven't, there's not a pile of cash that we can just pop out to and go, yeah, this is what we want to do. So it's about, especially for a second in command, is with the resources that I've got, how can we be more resourceful as a business? Um, but what I want to touch on quickly is you talked about before that hero complex that operators, I have, and a lot of the people that I coach have. And when we talk about AI, yeah, many years ago when it was first coming out, I did have the mindset that this was cheating. Yeah, that I couldn't use that because I'm not using my brain, or it came across as me going, that's not, from an integrity point of view, this doesn't seem right.
I was talking
Today, yeah,
about it, but it was like it's. So I think it's more of a female thing because it's like the good girl complex. Like, but I think it's an operator thing. It's like I want to be rewarded for my hard work.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, this is my
And that
stamp.
yeah,
I did
shift
this.
is now you need to be rewarded for what you make happen, for what you execute, for that abundant mindset. For hey, I didn't work through the night. I got AI to do it, and it's a lot about mindset, and because the learning is out there, and it's already overwhelming for so many of us.
Yeah,
But you can get start small and get your head around it, kind of thing. But yeah,
I've
that
definitely shifted my mindset because I think you have to. I think you cannot now not think about AI. It's everywhere. It's in your personal, your perfect. Like it is overwhelming. I've got my hair somewhere, my face. Um, it's definitely it's just everywhere. So you either got to get curious. I think that's what it is get curious. And
mm,
it is overwhelmed with how many different tools. There's a new tool coming, there's probably 5 new tools coming out every day, but it's just about starting to lean in and be curious, especially for second in commands. Because how I look at it, Emma, is if I look at the CHS team and I look at the great team that we've got, the skill set, the experience, the knowledge that we have in our team, we know that we've built a really great team of A players. Now,
mm.
if I go back to £10, £100, £1,000 tasks, do I want my a Fed director or our a commercial director or our project manager, whoever that role is, do you want them doing the job that you want them to do, or do you want 70% of their day in admin, bogged down firefighting, in £10, £100 tasks, no time to think, no time to look up and actually just stop and go, what's the outcome? What am I trying to achieve here? Because they're just on the hamster wheel of, right, that's my to-do list today, and I've got to get through all of this by 5 o'clock. Oh, I've got to work we're leaving so much intelligence, so much experience and knowledge on the table
Because they're being bogged down.
because they're being bogged down. And it's about how can AI automation release some of that so you've got your team doing what you want your team to be doing. Can you imagine the momentum and the uplift in productivity and kind of idea generating and what's possible? You start to come from the mindset of, okay, what's possible because I've released up X% of my
Yeah.
time.
You know what? I think if I'm being blunt,
Go on.
for me,
Not like you.
exactly. And when I see if you speak, oh, the team are doing this, I'm like, that's my money they're spending, as in the team, like doing the work. So I'm like and I don't know if there's a fear of, but if I'm not doing it,
Yeah.
then my job's not needed. So I think we've got a culture where people know that's not the case. But it's like, how much more can you be doing? How much more effective can you be? How much more can we achieve? So for me, it's like if people are worrying about this and kind of saying, "Oh, I feel it's cheating," or "I feel as if I should be rewarded for doing the work myself," I'm like, as a founder that's look after the money, I want you to use AI. I want you to speed things up. I want you to automate things. Also, from a culture perspective, I want your work life to be exciting. I don't want you to come into work and like go, "Oh, I've got." And don't get me wrong, I know that some people would love a massive to-do list in terms of that, like kind of working the way through stuff. But if you can get more done, that's what I want as a founder. But I want you to have a great place to work as well and do the exciting things, have the thinking time, learn about how you think more strategically, and especially for that role as operational leader, second in command, it's like if you're going to be a strategic partner, then you cannot be doing everything yourself. It has to be that shift of, you know, what can I do? What tasks are on my plate? You know, can I get shit done, as we say quite a bit? To what needs to, where do I add value today? Where do I create value? Where do I make this business more valuable? Where do I make things happen? How do I execute the vision today?
How do I contribute?
Yes, yeah. That to me is the big shift.
And I would say I think there's some resistance as well out there with, okay, you know, where do I start? How do I protect the business with AI? There's a lot of other things to consider, but there's also a lot of good information out there for operators. But it's
Yeah.
about, if I was going to say anything, it's about be curious and also do a bit of an audit about where you're spending your time, but also your team's time.
Mm,
Because I think once you understand where the team and yourself are spending the majority of your time and the tasks, and if you release that, what is, again, what's possible. And I think that's the business case for the founder.
yeah, yeah. And just to finish, how, like, when you first got the job as COO,
Yeah.
um, there was nobody, was there, for you to like learn from, bounce ideas off? Like you had to come into like my mastermind, my networks as the founders. Uh, and I know that you're really passionate about kind of building that room for the operators so that they can, all the shortcuts I benefit from when I go and talk to other founders around, you know, like how did you do this? How did you navigate that? I've got this problem, or who do I go to? Who can you connect me to? Um, so our plea really is for any founders watching this, do a bit more digging around our videos, what have you. We've always got a event coming up or a webinar coming up. The
Yeah.
link will always be in the comments. And if you're an operator and you want to find your tribe, and it's really one thing I would say to founders is when operators find their tribe, it's magical. It's a little bit weird. It kind of freaked me out a little bit. I'm like, oh my God, there's more than one of these people who
Yeah.
who thrive on the getting, making things happen.
Yeah.
Correct myself there. Then, jump on one of our events. But meanwhile, it's good to get our thoughts clarified, a bit of a behind the scenes chat.
It's always nice to chat with you, Emma, when it's not about work.
Never know about where.